The time has finally come, even though it wasn't that long of a wait, but that's a hefty box. Oh man. Oh man. These are gonna be awesome. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on the Air Jordan 40, the latest model within the long and storied flagship series from the Jordan brand. Now, before we jump right into these, we have collaborated with Series Player Only because I feel that they make the best basketball socks in the game. So what we've done is added our little touch to them with a really small but clean WearTesters embroidered logo. They're all available now over at SeriesPlayerOnly.com. Now, the box right here is pretty interesting. It's a hefty box. It's really thick, but it's also kind of like simple and plain, obviously. Like it's just straight up all black. There's a red Jumpman on there. That's pretty much it. When you open up the box, it feels very premium inside. It actually reminds me a lot of the Air Jordan 23 box, even though it's not the same style of box, but it's, you know, got that flavor, that feel to it. When I opened it up, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And ever since I first saw these, I've been wanting to talk about all the little Easter eggs and things like that that's in them. So
get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
There are lots of Air Jordan isms within this shoe, both from the team line and the main flagship line. So if you saw any of these models within this shoe, you'd be correct. First of which is the Jordan Team Strong Premier. Obviously, you could see that a little bit in here, and yeah, very loose, but it's there. Although I will say that that shoe does take inspiration from actual flagship models like, say, the Air Jordan 20, which I also see in here a little bit, mostly at the heel. So having a team shoe look kind of like flagship shoes, not anything like surprising there. They do have a little bit of the Air Jordan 21 flavor as far as the overall lines are concerned. And then if you were to look at the next model, like say the Air Jordan 22, you can kind of see that in here too. Like I was saying before, they're premium crafted, so like these feel awesome, much like the Air Jordan 23. Yes, they do look a little bit like the Air Jordan 2009. Fun fact, that was the first performance review on YouTube. Fun fact, that happened to be from this channel. They also are a little similar to something like, say, the Air Jordan 2010, which would have been really cool had they made this toe cap right here semi-independent. That would have been awesome. Some other team shoes that they semi look like is the Air Jordan 16.5. Now, as far as what they feature on the actual shoe, like what is definitely paying tribute to other Air Jordans that you can physically see on these things. On the sole, you got the Jumpman logo at the toe, and then the hand and ball does poke around the tip of the toe, much like the Air Jordan 12. While the rear of the shoe features a Nike Air Tab, something that was introduced on the Air Jordan 3, but then this particular colorway is done up in a white cement look with that splatter paint, something that was introduced in the Air Jordan 4. This little tiny line right here is from the Air Jordan 14. The collar itself is asymmetrical, so it's a low top on the lateral side, and then it's a mid top on the medial side, something that was introduced in the Air Jordan 13 and also used in the Air Jordan 14. Something else that was introduced on the Air Jordan 13 is an internal lacing system, which these guys have, so it's a hidden lacing system. It's supposed to bring the upper closer to your foot. The nylon lace loops that these are comprised of also pay tribute to the Air Jordan 10, so instead of them being all the way down on the exterior, they're all the way down on the interior. Also, like the Air Jordan 10, which this is loosely based off of, mostly in colorway. This is supposed to be like a representation of the steel Air Jordan 10s. This shoe does pay tribute to MJ's accolades, much like the outsole of the Air Jordan 10 does. It is a hidden feature though, so it's not as prominent like on the outsole. Instead, it's inside, in between each lacing nylon strand. There's a 1984 for the year that he was drafted. His first 3 championships back to back. Then moving on to the other side, you can see 1992, which is the year that he won Olympic gold, following up with the next 3 back-to-back championships that he ended his career with, or at least his career as a Chicago Bull. The tongue itself, as well as the laces, pay tribute to the reflective 3M mesh found on certain Air Jordan 13 colorways. Not only is it made of similar material, but it is also reflective as well. Now, the sidewalls of the tongue are something that you can't see, but it's a gusseted neoprene sleeve. It's made up just like the Air Jordan 7s. The tongue is inspired by the Air Jordan 5, not just in overall shape, but also the fact that it is 3M reflective as well. You can also slightly see a modified Air Jordan Wings logo on the tongue if you're to look closely at all those weird lines that are everywhere. On the insole, it states quality basketball products inspired by the greatest of all time. That is a loose tribute to the Air Jordan 12's heel as well as the Air Jordan 11's tongue tag behind the tongue. The top-down view kind of reminds me a little bit of the Air Jordan 16, and then when you were to flip it over right here on the medial side, it seems like there's another tribute, or at least a loose one, to the Air Jordan 14 with the Air Scoop, but they also pay tribute to the Air Jordan 18 and its ventilation flap as well. It's literally the same exact material and that lenticular look. I'm really hoping I didn't forget anything. That was a lot. Oh, I did. And right here at the collar, there are some perforations there. That's supposed to help represent the Air Jordan 6. And it's also reflective behind the perforations as well. Okay.
Oh my God.
So, those are all of the Air Jordanisms that I see in this shoe, but there could be more. If I missed any, sound off below and let me know what you see within the Air Jordan 40. Now, in terms of the way that they feel and what they offer, this traction feels awesome. I was using them on my little hardwood court over there, or hardwood floor of the stage that we use for our on-feet stuff, and it feels very similar to what the Air Jordan 39 basically offered. So I think that that outsole right here, or that translucent section, is going to work really well, much like those did. Something that I can already feel with these is stability. These are way more stable than the Air Jordan 39, and by way more I mean like way more. Like, these are the way that a shoe should feel. You don't feel tippy or rocky or anything like that. They also extend right here at the lateral outrigger, so you got a nice wide stable base at the forefoot. This is perfect. The shoe itself does reuse the same cushioning as the Air Jordan 39, so we've got full-length Zoom X and then full-length Zoom. The difference is that they flipped the placement of the Zoom Air, so instead of it being bottom-loaded, it's now top-loaded, and it's considered part of the Strobel, so it's a Zoom Strobel instead of just a Zoom unit. Same overall tech though, but with a much different feel. This feels way better, and I don't mean in the sense of bounciness, because I will say that if you're looking for just bounce, the 39 will feel better to you, but in terms of offering more of a balanced ride, where you're getting all of the plush cushion underfoot with the Zoom, even more plushness and impact protection from the Zoom X, but all of which is wrapped within these rubber sidewalls, so you don't feel like you're about to roll into an ankle sprain despite them having that much cushion. You need a nice balance of like some firmness with all of this extra plush cushion, and that's what this guy offers. It feels awesome. So this is the way that I wish the Air Jordan 39 felt, but I am glad that the Air Jordan 40 at least feels that way. The materials are just amazing. Like, this is something that I just love on any shoe, and the fact that this has the majority of the shoe built with premium leathers is something that I just really love. So the toe cap area is a really nice raw, very, very fine cut nubuck. It's got this really nice soft feel to it, something that you would really notice if you were to touch the polyurethane coated like main leather build and then touch that stuff. You can just feel how like soft and plush it is, and that's great for flexibility. So this is going to offer less restriction and more mobility, whereas the white portions that you see are just a really nice premium but also polyurethane coated leather, so it feels super nice. And then all of that stuff is combined with synthetic materials, so it's not 100% like raw everything, and I think that's fine. So the eye stay that you see, basically the black section, and then the black section of the collar, that's synthetic nubuck, and the collar area is actually a separate component from the tongue, which is really interesting. It's also a separate component from the rest of the upper, so it's like you got a shell and then padding and structure within it. The entire shoe, like if you were to get it in hand and just feel it, not just on foot, but in hand, I think that a lot of people, if you actually appreciate footwear and appreciate craftsmanship and design, you're gonna like this. You can feel the love that was put into something like this, you know what I mean? Now, in terms of sizing, that's gonna be the tricky part. So if you're ordering online and you're not gonna be playing basketball in these, I can see a lot of people wanting to go up half a size. They fit really snug in the toe, also around the foot, and then you gotta be careful where the toe cap meets this little Air Jordan 14 like stitch point. You can actually feel that if your laces aren't loose enough while you're first putting your foot in there. So what I would do is just loosen them up as much as you can, pull your tongue up so that it like removes the sleeve bunching, and then start to like lace your shoes up and stuff like that, and then it'll relieve that little issue. At first I was like, oh crap, like I got a flawed pair or something where I could really feel it digging in the side of my foot. And then once I adjusted everything, it felt fine. If you're going to be playing basketball in these, going true to size for most will work, but it will depend on the type of socks that you wear. If you wear really thick socks, you may want to go up half a size. Like, these are super snug, very tight. Will they break in with the leather being as nice as it is? I will say yes, but will they break in enough to make a nice accommodating performance fit? That's yet to be determined, so stay tuned. I will be playing in these and I'll give a performance review as soon as I can. Now, with all that being said, do we happen to have time for a user submitted question of the day?
A couple weeks back, we covered Shea's upcoming shoe with Converse, and so people have been discussing, this viewer included, but would you consider Shea an extended Nike athlete?
Technically, yes. He's a Converse athlete, first off. He is signed with Converse. However, Nike does own the Converse brand now, much like they own the majority of Jordan brand, even though all three of these brands are managed separately. The difference, though, is that when you're a Nike affiliated brand, or what would they call it? Like, you're underneath the umbrella, an offshoot or if we're talking in like comic book, movie terms, like a spin-off, you know what I mean? If you're a spin-off of the Nike brand, you are able to put your hands in the cookie jar essentially when it comes to tech. So that's why you're gonna see a lot of Nike tech in Jordan brand shoes, or all tech is gonna be Jordan brand. They're synonymous with one another at this point. And then same thing over at Converse. It's why you're seeing Nike Zoom and things like that within these shoes. It is one of the reasons why I question Nike doing the whole React thing, like naming it React. I was just like, bro, so we're never getting React juice. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's what that felt like. It's like you're erasing Converse's React juice history. Is that the case? I don't know. It's just what I initially felt when I first saw React foam. You know what I mean? I was like, what about Converse? You own that. The weird thing though is that if you are a Converse and Jordan brand athlete, you can wear Nike products, much like if you're a Nike athlete, you can also wear Converse and Jordan brand products. So if you were to ever see anybody that's like signed to either of these three brands, like if they're professional athletes and they're either casually just out and about, or they're walking through the tunnel or whatever it might be, and you see that they're wearing something from one of these three brands, is because they're allowed to. It's because they're cross-pollinating. So I would say, what was the main question? Is he a what?
Extended Nike athlete.
I would say in those terms, loosely, yes. But yeah, overall, the Air Jordan 40, I think is gonna be awesome on court. I can already feel how much better, like just having them on, they are than the previous model. So that already gets me super excited. I really hope that they work out for me. Stay tuned for the upcoming performance review, and we will see you there. So until next time, guys, y'all have a good one.